You'd be surprised how many businesses were started with no money.
I believe that money is an exchange of value.
If you are going to build a house, you can't simply take a napkin and draw it on a napkin. In the United States, the government recognizes only two types of businesses.
Welcome back, everyone, for episode 2. This is, we still haven't decided on the name yet. We're still looking for your votes between the names that Shelby suggested last episode: Employee No More, The Critical Path Entrepreneur, and The Shift to Self. So please let us know in the comments below which of these titles or these names resonate for the podcast that we're doing for turning employed people into business owners in 52 weeks. This is episode 2. And I'm happy to welcome Shelby again. How are you doing today?
Spectacular. Good to be back. Excited to talk about these things.
Wonderful. So let's start. Someone is employed and they need to construct a vision of what they need to do with the business, like what kind of business they want to make. How do they start?
So many places. And that's the most difficult part of my assisting people, because I can't dream for people. I can't dream. I can tell them how to get to that dream, because we're going to take that dream and put it into real blueprints, into real something that can be built. But to get that dream, that has to come from the person. So part of it is just not being afraid to dream. Don't be afraid. We go through life so often being told that that's for the wealthy, or that's for those that were born into it. You'd be surprised how many businesses were started with no money. No money. Some of the largest businesses in the world. And some of those entrepreneurs have written books. And if you read their books, you'll see that they started with very little or nothing. So the idea is, initially, it's just don't be afraid to dream. And don't let anyone tell you that your dream is ridiculous or whatever, because if 6 out of 7 are employed, and that's where they're finding their safety, and there is that 7th one that wants to go out and be self-employed, what happens oftentimes is you have 6 people pulling them back. No, you can't do that. I tried that before. My parents tried that, or whatever the case it is. So if you have a vision, get with your vision. Then when you have your vision, we can start now going into some of the steps that we'll talk about next.
Right. And to add to that, it's a value. I believe that money is an exchange of value. So money is a currency that it signals that what you have is valuable. So for example, if you're employed and you're getting a paycheck every month or every 2 weeks, that means that the business sees what you do as valuable. That's why they're giving you money for it. And so if we can turn that value, package it, and make sure that instead of you selling time in exchange for money, if we can do that transition into maybe, and you will get into more the different types of people. People are, people employ people and exchange their services into money versus creating a product or something. But in the end of the day, we're taking that person who is already employed and understands the value they're adding to the business. We're telling them, hey, you can step away, package whatever value you offer, and sell it as a service to similar businesses. Am I on the right track of thinking here?
You're on the right track, especially if you're talking about a service-related business. Mm-hmm. In the United States, the government recognizes only 2 types of businesses: manufacturing or service. Those are the only 2 types of businesses. So by far, the majority of businesses are in the service business. Regardless of what it is, we may be in insurance, or we may be in carpet cleaning, or we make wedding cakes, whatever the case may be. It's a service industry. That so happens to make cakes, or I'm in a service industry that so happens to serve hamburgers. So if you're wanting to be in the service industry, then yes, your statement is true.
Okay, and so what is the first task. If someone decides, okay, I want to step into the business ownership, I want to build my business. Is there like a value proposition that they need to create for that business? A value statement, mission statement, vision statement?
Yes and no. I like that question about mission statements because so often when people have companies and they go, "Oh, I'm supposed to have a mission statement. Let me write out something." What it really becomes is you have a idea that you would like to do. Perfect. Perfect. That's your vision. Now we need to start talking about that vision. So you'll hear me use the build a house model. Okay. If I inherited a piece of land, I could do a whole lot of things with a piece of land. I could let it sit and do nothing with it. I could let it grow weeds. I could turn it into farming. I could build a building on it. I could do anything because it's my piece of land. It's the same thing with our lives. With our lives, we can use our lives to do anything that we would like to do. Would we like to do nothing and just let weeds grow? Would we like to do something? And if we want to do something, is it a service that we would like to provide? Is it helping people? Is it being a solopreneur where I really don't want to have employees, but I want to have a successful business? So with all of those ideas, then, when we talk about the first step, the first and most difficult one is just being willing to dream and to come up with a vision and to come up with just a thought. Wouldn't it be cool if I could have a little plant shop? I'd love to have a little plant shop. I've never done any plants before. I just think it would be nice to do it. Beautiful. There's a vision. I would love if I had a food truck. I'm not sure which type of food, and I'm not really a good cook, but I would love to have a food truck. I just think that would be cool. I could do it on the weekends. I could start it as a weekend job to transition from working Monday through Friday. I'm willing to commit. So it just has to start with a vision. And when we start with a vision, then we're going to sit and put that vision through some scrutiny. We're going to start putting down some things. We're going to start listing it.
What are the things?
Some of the things we're going to talk is just, again, so using the house illustration, if you had a piece of land and you wanted to build a house and you come to me because I'm a person that designs the blueprints, if you came to me, I'd say, so tell me, what do you see? Do you see 1 story, 2 story? Do you see a kitchen? Tell me about your kitchen. If I show you some pictures, could you take me to a house that has the kitchen? In other words, we're going to have to spend some time. We're going to have to spend some time. If you are going to build a house, you can't simply take a napkin and draw it on a napkin, which is step 1, by the way. That's a vision. I'd like to have a house. It's going to be 2 stories. I want my master bedroom on the top floor. I want a man cave down underneath, and on and on and on. Well, when you take that to an engineer or an architect that's now going to help you design that, that's going to take time. And it's going to take money. So what we have to take a look at is your vision that you have. Who are you going to discuss that with? Now, part of what we're going to be doing here is, can we create a book that you can run it through the steps that are going to be inside the book? That would be very helpful. But in making the vision, we're going to sit down and we're just going to say, so this plant shop that I want, where do I want to have it? And on things that we don't know, just put, I don't know. But yeah, this starts with downloading from you as much as we can get. And in building a house, sometimes we're looking at magazines. So we might be looking inside of entrepreneur magazines. We might be talking to friends that have a similar business. We have to take time to just pull in data.
A lot of people get stuck about, they want a novel idea. They want something extraordinary, something that is creative, something that has not been done before, versus just opening something that you're comfortable with, something, a business that is already established, and make some improvements on it. So
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on?
If you're going to transition from being an employee to a business owner, do that first. Because if you can transition successfully to a business that you've created, from there can springboard ideas of how to make it larger. Just like if I had a piece of land and I'm going to build a house and I decide, all right, I'm going to build a 2-story house and it's going to be 2,000 square feet and it's going to be blah, 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 blah. Once those plans are made, that's what I'm going to build. It's going to be that house. Now, in getting that house completed, when I'm done with it, I may want to take a look and say, you know what, I'd like to expand this house. I would like to do this with it. I'd like to do, and so we can take any vision, any business that we built, and we can now add to it. We can change it. We can sell it because now we have another idea that we want. So there's so many things. But the first thing is the challenge of learning how to be a business person. You've got to learn how to be the marketing, how to be the sales, how to be the production, how to be the administrator. All 4 of those you're going to do. And if your goal is to eventually have your business to where it runs itself and you're able to sit back, well, in order for you to get people in each of those positions, you're going to have to create what the job definition is for each of them, what the expectations are for each of the levels, and you're going to have to provide the hiring and the training to get the person inside the spot. So to start a business, you're going to have to learn all 4 of the areas.
And what do you think? A lot of people might not know what success looks like. How would you define how success looks like? Let's say I want to open a restaurant. So what success looks like?
Yeah, I think in a business, I'll tell you what the government says success, what it does not look like. Failed, cannot pay the loan, cannot pay the employees, and so on and so on. So success becomes really in starting up a business, can we get to the point where it is profitable? Now, notice I didn't say break even, because break even is important, but now you're not paying yourself. You're not putting away money to be able to build it. So we don't want to just run it to break even. Can we run it to be profitable? If you run it to be profitable, well, now you're heading in the right direction, because now the business is going to be able to build up equity. It's going to be able to build up the revenue that you're going to need to reinvest back inside of it to make it larger, And we're not going to just keep growing, because remember, the business plan didn't start that way. The business plan started with, I'm going to build this, and the critical path said, we've got 52 weeks to get that done. So that's what we're going to get to. So when we take a look at that house or that business at the end of 52 weeks, we didn't say, what's it going to take for me to call that house successful? It was built, the framing went up, the roof went up. It doesn't have toilets inside, and there is no kitchen inside, but it's got to be a complete house. Your business has to be complete. And part of making it complete is that it pays all of the bills and it has profit left over that can be used to reinvest back into the company.
So when people are designing that vision, is it a revenue target number?
No, the vision starts with, what do I want to do? It's got to start. The revenue is going to be a separate thing. The revenue is going to be starting with the entrepreneur himself. This is a separate step, is we have to talk about, what do I personally want to make? What do I want to make? And when you take a look at that, again, it's a difficult thing, because people don't always think about what they're going to want to make. And so you'll hear people say, well, I'd like to do $100,000 or whatever the case may be. What we really have to do now is we're going to be transitioning from being an employee to owning a company. And so in between that, we're going to be taking a look, how much does this company need to generate and how soon does it need to start generating it? Because we can do things that can help a service business start generating cash flow within the first 4 weeks. So we'll talk about that. There may be others, businesses where the cash flow is not going to come for the first 15 weeks or the first 26 weeks or whatever the case may be. So we have to take a look at the owner. What is the owner going to want to make? Sometimes when I sit down and talk to people that are starting up a business, I'll go, so tell me, what do you want to make? How much do you want to make? Well, I need to clear $5,000 a month. I go, okay, well, let's talk about that 5,000. Tell me, with that 5,000, where did you get that number? Well, I currently make $4,000 a month or $4,000 a week or whatever the case is. So if I'm going to start my own business, I would like to at least get to the point of 5. Okay, good. So that 5,000, let's break down how you would spend it. Well, the point is, we'll start asking questions. Do you have the car that you would love to have? Are you living in a neighborhood that you would love to live in? Are you taking, how many vacations are you taking a year? So when we really start taking a look at what kind of life we would really like to have, then we start finding out people go, well, 5,000 won't do it. Now, here's a fun thing. With so many people, when we sit down and do this exercise, and we'll talk more about this exercise, about what really lifestyle do you want to have? Sometimes it's, I want my wife to be able to stop working and she has this amount of income coming in. So I want to be able to cover that. I want to be able to do this. I want to be good. It's so interesting because people oftentimes, when I'm done with the numbers and we show it to them, I go, here you are. Your business to be successful has to generate $16,000 a month. All of a sudden there's a number. And it's a real number. It's a real number that takes care of getting their business built, taking care of elevating their lifestyle. And it becomes a real number. And now we have something that an architect finally reaches a moment where they say, aha, I know what I'm now going to go design blueprints for. I got it. After all of my time of meeting with you, finding out what you're going to need, what you like, I'm going to go draw the blueprints.
And this number is coming from the owner themselves, from their life. They can associate every dollar where it's going. So it's not a hypothetical number.
Not a hypothetical.
It's not like, oh, I want 500,000. You know, it's more like real. I love that.
Yeah, because what we do is oftentimes when we build the game plan, and as we're going through the stages, there comes a stage where we now go buy that car because we're at whatever it is of the plan, and that required that you now get that car. Remember, you researched that and you found out that that was going to be a $450 a month payment or whatever the case is. So we have to reward ourselves and stick to the game plan, because the game plan says at the end of this period, whatever period it's going to be, 52 weeks might be the first part of it, but it's going to be 104 weeks to get to this number that you'd like to get to, or it's going to be 256 weeks, whatever the case is going to be. But yeah, the starting with the vision of what I want to do and then taking a look at what income does it need to produce.
Yeah.
Does it need to produce? When we get those two numbers, it now gives us, and the person wanting to build this business, it now gives them the very specific target. And now we can go build exactly what does a business that's in this industry look like, that has 4 employees, because that was part of what we built in the beginning. A person may say, you know, if I start this business, I don't want to be the one doing the production. Well, do you want to work in the business? Yes, I'd like to do the sales part of it, or I'd like to take care of the administration. That's what I want to do. for the marketing, sales, production, we're going to want to have 3 employees. Is this what you're thinking? Well, let's take a look at the number that you end up with. So to get this number and to do this type of business, you're actually going to need 4 employees. So that's what your final picture is going to look like.
All right. So week one, I think we've managed it for the people listening and watching as a summary, and correct me if I did not summarize well, but first we start with the end in mind. We start with the vision. Then we ask ourselves, what lifestyle do I need to provide for myself and my family? Here's how it's broken down. We associate a number for every item. And now this target, this number becomes real, becomes a driving force for us to get to work. Yeah, so the first task for the week is to define that vision with the broken down items to arrive at a number.
Yeah, we really just have to understand what is it that we'd like to do. Don't worry about if you know how to do it. That's not important. Figure out what you'd like to do and write down all of the information about it. Write down, just don't be afraid to dream. Dream. I would like to have this. We're all going to be wearing red shirts. Whatever the case is, just close your eyes and don't be afraid to dream and just get all that written down. Second step is sit down and think about the money. What do I want to be able to work for? We can start immediate. So in the first 13 weeks, here's what I need because I have this transition that I have to do from where I'm working, or I'm starting up 100% scratch, and here's what I must do. Then we can take a 1-year look. Where would you like to be in 52 weeks, income-wise? And then longer term. So somehow we have to get to the point of what is the number?
Quantifying the goal.
We've got to get some type of number that we're going to work with, because once we take a look at whatever that number is, that's the number that we're going to work for. Not close to it, not even necessarily working beyond that. We've got to work to that number. When we get to that number, we get to move inside the house, so to speak. We get to celebrate what we've just done. We get to stay in it and live in it and do whatever we need to do. And then if we want to talk about doing additions to it, we can do that. Or if we want to sell this and now go build a bigger one, a different business, we can do that.
All right. So that's week one, everyone. Get this done and we'll see you on the next one.
Have to get it done. Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.